There was a curious report this week from Sam Mobile claiming that the Galaxy Watch could go back to its square roots. It's still a rumor for now, but it got me hyped up. Samsung copying the Apple Watch design is a very good idea if you ask me. Let me be clear, it's all a matter of choice for me. I'm not asking Samsung to switch to square designs for all of its watches, but should it offer that as an option? Yes, please. The reason is simple. Let's go back 10 years in time. The first Samsung Galaxy Gear, the Gear 2, and the Gear Live were all square. Many of the first Android Wear watches were square too. Around 2013-2014, there was a good mix of round and square designs from LG, Asus, and Sony. Then, over the years, the square design started disappearing. It's like Apple got an exclusivity deal on the square shape, while Android watches went round all the way to distinguish themselves. But what I love about Android is that it's built on choice. Phones, tablets, TVs, you can find what you want. So just why not watches? And I'm not alone in thinking this. We asked you guys here on YouTube, but also on Twitter and on AndroidAuthority.com if you preferred round or square watches. We got over 5,000 votes total. And of course, most of you liked round watches. But there are 19% of you who prefer the square design. 1 over 5 people is not a small number. Giving these people an alternative square design just makes sense. A round watch looks more like a traditional mechanical watch, but if a square design is good enough for Cartier, Richard Mille, and Hublot, then it's good enough for Samsung. Also for me, the square design has 3 clear advantages. 1, it lets you fit more electronics inside. Smartwatch batteries, chipsets, and sensors are all rectangular, so putting them in a round watch is clearly an inefficient use of space. 2, a square screen means the text doesn't get cut off on all 4 corners. On the Apple Watch, I don't have to center a piece of text in the middle of display to read it, and I don't have to center graphs like my steps or my heart rate to the middle of the screen to see them fully. The whole display is usable. That's not the case with the Pixel Watch or my Galaxy Watch. And 3, this is more of a geometrical one, so bear with me while I explain it. A round watch is as tall as it is wide by definition. For Samsung to make a round watch bigger, it has to make it both wider and taller. So in order to cover my wrist, a round watch has to be really gigantically wide too. We've seen this with the new OnePlus Watch 2, for example. We've also noticed that a larger round display doesn't always mean more text and info on the screen. When Samsung moved from a 1.4-inch display on the Galaxy Watch 5 to 1.5 inches on the Watch 6, it didn't show more info in that extra 0.1 inches. It just showed more of the same amount of info, but just slightly bigger. By comparison, a rectangular watch can go taller without getting wider and without looking all kinds of ridiculous on my wrist. Going taller also means more lines of text to read and more room for icons and menus and options. The best analogy I can think of is this. Do you want to go back to phones with a 16:10 display ratio, like the first Galaxy Note? Or do you prefer seeing more content on your S24 Ultra with its 19.5:9 display ratio? I know what I'm choosing every single time. And this is why I'd love to see Samsung make a squared off version of the Galaxy Watch 7. And I'd love to see more smartwatch brands do that too. It's not an Apple exclusive. Android Wear did it first. So just give that as an option to people like me who don't mind the sportier look of a square watch. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to follow Android Authority for all the latest news, reviews, tests, and more.